All right, Chevy. So let's give the viewers an idea of who the hell you are. So you are an actor, and you also have a 9-to-5 job, and you recently wrote, directed, and shot a movie.
I did not direct it.
You did not direct it. That's right. Susan Mielson directed it.
Yes.
But you wrote the movie.
I wrote it. I helped produce it. I was in it. I was featured in it, and I've been submitting it to film festivals.
And you've been traveling around with it a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely. I just felt that every festival that accepted our work, I thought needed a representative, somebody that should answer any questions, because it's not an easy. It's only 6 minutes long, but it's not an easy story, and people after they see it, they're always going to have questions. So I just felt the purpose of the movie was to get the word out, really. It's a movie about awareness. The mind is a scary place to get lost in. And I think this movie helped show just how scary it can be after a traumatic incident. And that's why, so every time we've submitted and we've been accepted as an official selection, somebody should be there.
So can you share the basis of the video, or is that going to be a spoiler alert?
I don't think it's going to be a spoiler, but it's in the tagline. A split-second decision leads to some PTSD, and these are the effects of that. A majority of the time when a film or any type of project will show or talk about PTSD, they always talk about the incident. What led up to it. For me, what was scary is the after effects, having to deal with that. And there's no magic pill. There's no remedy. There's no cure. It's time. It's acceptance, and it's time. You really just, like we were talking about earlier, you got to own it. You said, all right, this is what happened, and I have to accept it, and I'm sympathetic for certain things, but I'm also happy for other things, and we move on. So the movie's based on personal experiences, right? Yes, it's based on true events.
And the focus point with this too is, like you said, dealing with the sort of the aftermath of a traumatic event, and how to sort of process that.
Yes.
What was your reason for writing this? Was this more of a personal release, or did you want to target other people that are dealing with similar issues to shed some light on that and how you share the experience?
That's a great question, actually, and that was a purpose of the project. I'm not the only one that experienced an incident that way, and there are other people that have and that will. And I just wanted to be able to show my story and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, because when you're in it, I mean, you can really touch some dark spots in your head. And the film isn't really so much a cautionary tale as it is just a story of hope that you will get through it. You're not alone. And it's really about the power of therapy, and not even therapy. It's the power of communication. If you allow somebody else into your head and you share your experience, it's almost a weight being lifted. You don't have to do it on your own. You're not alone.
And opposed to keeping it in, bottling it up and just drinking it off, or whatever the self-medication solution is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, we all self-medicate for one reason or another, whether we're gym gurus or too much caffeine or whatever the case is. We all have our vice, of course. But when you experience something like this, in my experience, and I'm not talking professionally because I don't have the medical background and I don't have the training, but from my personal experience, you need to share it, and share it in a way where you're comfortable talking about it. You're also sharing it in a way where it might help somebody else, because again, we're human.
Yeah.
And this is happened to others, and it's going to happen to many more.
Yeah.
And since my incident, there's been a handful of others where people have reached out to me based on my event. And
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually, there were 3 other guys since me, and they've
Same line, same occupation,
same occupation.
same issue.
Scary enough, a lot of similarities incident-wise. So they've reached out and said, "Hey, what's going on? How are you?" We talked about the Mets. We talked about everything, but if that's what they needed, I was just so thankful that I was able to be there for them. So
Was that they reached out to you after via the movie, or
no,
through the community?
Right, through the job and being at work and everybody. It's when an incident like that happens, it really permeates throughout the entire job. So
People hear about it.
People hear about it. They know that your name is associated with an incident that way. It's almost like having an asterisk next to your name when there's a roster being read.
In a good or bad way? Or just a way?
Just a way. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because you would think it'd be associated. By the way, we're being really pretty vague with this, so if you want to know what we're talking about, is your movie publicly listed? Like, can somebody watch this on YouTube or Vimeo?
Not yet, only because it's still being submitted to festivals.
What's the name of the movie?
It's called The Job.
The Job. But if they Google it, will they find like an IMDb info
Well,
on it?
it is listed on IMDb. It is making the rounds. It was just showcased at the Austin After Dark Film Festival. Prior to that, it was... we had a good run, actually. So far, so good. I'm not looking for awards. Really, I just want the name and the story out there because, again, it is a film about awareness. And I want people to understand that, you know, in this occupation, right now we're the bad guys. We're completely shown as the villain in the media right now. And we're just people. You know, we punch in, we punch out, we want to go home.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you punch out, the job stays with you.
Yeah.
So that's really what the catalyst and the motivation about making the film for me. It was also very cathartic.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. Yeah, people forget that too. Like, not everyone that joins the military and you're not military, but not everyone that joins the military is gung-ho and wants to go to see combat.
Right.
Some, but not all. Some people join the Army for the free education. And they happen, but...
Are you kidding me? I went to school with a lot of guys that were taking full advantage of that GI Bill.
Sure.
And that's brilliant. How do you not take advantage of that?
They're joining for that reason, for security and, I'm not going to say safety, but for the income and the benefits of it. They're not, seeking war, but as a byproduct of being in the military, they have the possibility of being thrown into those situations.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
you're subject to it. Sure.
The same thing too. Like, people want it because it's a job. Not everyone has the same mindset going into it. I mean, like you mentioned, my point being is that people are people going into it.
Oh, absolutely.
And, no one's superhuman.
No.
Even if you're special operations in the military, at the end of the day, you're still human. You're going to respond to certain things. Training helps, but you're not a robot.
No. And it's, people just expect you because you show up. Here's the thing, and we say this to each other all the time, that you have the front seat to the evils that people do to each other. And the day you graduate from the academy, that's the one thing they say to you is that you have the front seat to the world. The world is a scary place. It's not very forgiving either. And we do some nasty things to each other.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're going to take that home. I'm going to work like, what am I having for lunch today?
Yeah.
Am I going to catch that train ride home? Am I going to catch the bus home? That's, the minute I get to work, it's how am I going to get home? Just like everybody else.
Like anybody else.
As soon as you clock in, you're like, oh God, another 8 hours here.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And you know what? We just have different kinds of stress that we take home. but everybody's stressed out.
Yeah. Well, it is a different type of stress.
It's a different type of stress, but it's stress nonetheless.
Sure.
And everybody has stress. Am I going to get that promotion? Is my boss going to mess with me today? Is are my kids going to be fine at school while I'm here at work? And the little kid had a fever this morning. I felt guilty leaving him. It's the same thing for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has the same issues.
Yeah.
It's just with this profession, we're under the microscope. Everything we do, we sneeze the wrong way, it's going to make the 5 o'clock news.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, that's the other thing too. You are under the microscope now, and you can't get away with anything.
No,
and people
no.
forget to,
But there's nothing to get away with. We have to make decisions. It's like any other job, any type of office job, any type of whatever industry it is. You're expected to make decisions. That's what you're getting paid a salary and benefits for. You have to make decisions. When something comes across your desk, you cannot just push it to a side. That's not what you're getting paid for. You have to make a decision. Here, there's so much oversight. You have an inspector general, you have a district attorney's office, you have internal affairs, you have community councils, you have internal review boards, you have all kinds of oversight. Everybody has something to say. Just remember that when you're Monday morning quarterbacking somebody, you're not in that position. You're not that person. You don't know what they're predisposed to.
Right.
So you don't know if they're in a situation, what things might trigger for them that they're going to react differently than you are because you're a different person.
Yeah.
It's just the bottom line. You have to understand something. When somebody calls 911, that is the absolute worst day of their life. Absolute worst day of their life. You have an amazing opportunity. You really do have the front seat to the world because this person, in the worst day of their life, they're calling 911 for help. They don't care who's coming through that door. As long as that person's able to help them in some way, some fashion, just an ounce, give them that little assistance that they're hoping for because they're calling a complete stranger to help them.
Well, and that's what people forget too. I think he gets tainted by the 0.5% that are bad eggs, like in any occupation.
Yeah, but in this industry, it gets publicized. If you have a bad egg, it's going to be all over.
Yeah, and also the situations the bad eggs are put in are heightened situations.
There was an immediate threat to life, and there was a split-second decision that had to be made.
Yeah.
Had that decision not been made, I may not be here talking to you about it.
Right.
My partner may not be here talking to you about it. Right. So it's
having with my dad and being a Vietnam vet and dealing with all the trauma, and my upbringing with my dad being a veteran and all the craziness that comes along with that.
I mean, that's completely different. Because, you know what? You're talking about a very violent, nasty, up close and personal war. So he experienced my event several times a day. A day. He did a full tour. He was there, 300, what is it, 340 days? What's a tour?
He did it, 1 year. I think it was 12 months.
But it's not actually 365 days though, right? I forget what the tour is. But it was me times 1,000.
I get what you're saying, but regardless, it's a traumatic event outside of the normal.
Oh, absolutely.
And your mind and body responds to it. So whether you witness a car accident, that could cause PTSD for someone,
Sure.
That's all relative.
Are you kidding? I have an aunt. My grandfather was hit by a car. And because of that, she was nowhere near. She wasn't even in the same borough. Yeah. But because that happened, she cannot physically and mentally cannot drive on highways because of that.
Yeah.
Even to this day. And that happened 95?
You know what? To that point, and where I was going with this is, if you don't address those issues and you suppress them, they just get worse.
Oh, yeah.
And
you blow up at somebody who doesn't deserve it.
What's that?
Then you blow up at somebody who doesn't deserve it.
What are you talking about? There's
only so much you got to push down and just really suppress it.
Dude, I commend you for finding a positive outlet with that, because you think you're suppressing it, and it comes out, and fucking devil starts dancing in your body, man, and it comes out in bad ways, and you'll end up either drinking it off, or you deal with anger issues and explosiveness and all that.
Oh, I won't lie, man. There were definitely demons that I fought off.
But you didn't put it off for too long. I think there's a processing time to get to that spot, it seems.
Fair. Okay.
But you didn't put it off 20 years.
No.
You crawled in the bottle, and now you've got alcohol, depression because you're an alcoholic, suicidal tendencies because you're like, it didn't domino too far ahead. Maybe you went through that whole thought process, but you regained control relatively fast. You put in the effort to find an outlet on how to channel that, because and everyone has their own outlet, but the fact that you put in, you're persistent with finding a way to deal with that trauma. Because if you don't, I mean, I know firsthand, growing up in a household like that, like you can try to suppress it, but that shit comes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And, so I my point being, I commend you for figuring a way to positive, not only just for yourself, but then you actually created an outlet where you're helping other people too.
I would like to. I mean, that was the point of it. So I hope that I can.
Yeah, and you're continuing to share the story, and and who knows where you'll take it. I mean, God knows you're a badass, hardworking motherfucker. Which was my next point too. So we'll lighten it up for a moment to the point where you've made a movie. You're an actor as well, and I would say a quite successful actor.
I mean,
well, I know you. I mean. You do suck, but no, I mean, like, you work. You are on TV. You've been put up for big stuff. Here's my question to you, though. I'm not going to blow your head up too much, punk ass.
I've been lucky. I've been lucky.
Stupid sentence. Dumbest thing to come out of your mouth tonight.
Wait for it.
Yeah, like, getting a PhD and like climbing the ladder, the ranking structure, and his 9 to 5 like a mother effer. No one will outwork this dude. And then like a yes man to anything that comes across the table, as far as like, are you available from his agent, manager? Yes, always available. Figures a way.
There's always a way. There's always a way to figure it out.
You know what? I've actually changed my position on. I used to say no, like never quit, no quit. But I like to say there's always a solution. I like that more. It's a little bit more of an upbeat, because it's true. There's always a way
to figure it out. If
you want it, there's always a way.
There's always a way.
What my question to you is, give me 4 separate words to describe the success that you found as an individual thus far.
Oof.
Not the 4 descriptions to success, but the 4 descriptions of what has brought you to where you are now.
Drive. Stamina.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Drive, stamina, positivity. And can I use a hyphenated word? How
Sure.
about thick-skinned?
Thick-skinned.
Yeah.
You have to have that.
You have to. This is a business built on rejection. Now, you know what? I'll take it back. Instead of thick-skinned, I will say compartmentalize.
Okay.
All right. And I'll explain it. You really have to compartmentalize it, because if you go out and you don't book it, but you get the call back, that's a win. It may not be a win-win, but it's a win.
Right.
Because you book the room, they know the kind of work you're capable of, you'll get another call. They'll ask you to come back to that room.
Yeah, people should not forget that. If you're talking about callbacks, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You get a callback, that's a win.
That's a win.
The rest of it is out of your control.
I always say that you always get the audition based on your agent. You get the callback based on your talent, and you book the job based on how you look with the other people they've already booked. Right.
But these are variables out of your control.
Completely out of your control. Yeah. So it's agency, talent, and then looks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. You know what? I was flown out to LA for pilot season last year.
That I have shared this story with a bunch with a bunch of people because I think it's such an entertainment business story to a T.
Oh, completely.
So like, give us the cliff notes.
All right. So the cliff notes. I auditioned here in New York.
Yeah.
I got
like a self-tape audition, or in person.
You know what? It was in person.
Okay.
It was an in-person audition. Somewhere actually around here, actually right down on Fulton Street. Great,
Really?
Great casting office. Just fantastic people there. Got great feedback. They said, "Hey, we loved it. We just want to tweak a couple of things." So I got the call back. After the call back, I would say within an hour or two, they said, "We need you to fly out to LA." They made all the arrangements. They put me up. I tested.
Hold on. When did you fly out? So you did audition, let's say, we'll call it a Monday.
Right.
What day did you fly out?
Okay, if we're going to use that scenario, audition Monday, call back Wednesday, flew out Friday.
Okay, so anyone that's within this business, think about that for a moment. You get a call back on Wednesday, and then your agent calls you and is like, "Hey, you're flying to LA like in 2 days, a day and a half.
Yeah,
like
tomorrow.
Pack your shit." And this is a really big deal. We're not talking about like some small production. We're talking about like the one that you see on all the silver screens.
It was a pilot that was going to be shot for ABC.
Right.
Yeah.
Produced by someone that everyone knows. So really big deal.
It was. It
Just
would have been a good job.
Just to sort of bring like a relative scale to like for someone to really feel this. Okay, so you fly out Friday.
I fly out Friday. I land Friday night. Put me up in a hotel. Saturday morning would be the screen test.
And the hotel, luxury, right? Like this is the big break. This is the big break that you
I don't think it was a big break because I didn't book the job.
Well, no. But the layup. Like because how often are you flown to Los Angeles for
Not
a job?
often.
Yeah, like this is sort of like, okay, holy shit, this is the next level. This is what people work for. When you're in New York,
Right.
This is what you're working towards.
Fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
right? Like it has that feeling.
It had a feeling of some great potential.
Exactly.
Like this could be big.
It's not just another audition in Midtown.
No, not at all. But this is also exciting. Like somebody's paying me to fly out to see me.
You feel like you feel like a known.
Well, it's not so much that I feel like a known, but it's just somebody recognized my efforts and they said, "We want to meet you in person." You know, seeing you in video and seeing you in a clip that was submitted online wasn't good enough. We want to meet you. Who are you?
Right.
So to me, that was a win. That was a huge win.
Sure.
So
Okay, so you went out there Friday.
Saturday morning, I get called onto the lot, 20th Century Fox. Went to the security gate, told them who I was. They're like, "Oh, we've been expecting you." I'm like, "Really?"
That's awesome.
All right. So they ushered me upstairs. I met two other actors that were there to screen test with me.
Same role.
Same role. Dynamite guys.
What's the vibe? Is everyone nice and friendly, or is it superficial? Or
No, super friendly.
Okay.
Super friendly.
You
It
smell
was
bullshit on that, or is it genuine? Where were they from? East or west?
Well, one guy was from the Valley. One guy was an LA guy.
Okay.
So super nice guy. Another guy was flown in from Atlanta. Actually. Got into the room. I met the casting directors for the first time, face to face. Super lovely. A hug, a kiss, a handshake. Really nice. Didn't feel ingenuine at all. Then I meet the producers. I met the writer. Really nice. Just supportive.
Yeah.
That was probably the right word. I went first. Went in there, did my thing. They kept me in there for a while. We went through this scene over and over and over. On the way out, they couldn't thank me enough for dropping everything and flying out to LA for them.
On a 1 to 10 scale, how bad did you fucking annihilate that audition?
I
10
like
being the like you killed it.
there's no way for me to say that.
Roughly. Are we at a 1 or are we at a 10?
I will say that I felt super confident walking out.
So we'll call it an 8.
I felt like I was in the zone. Every note that
Best
they
case
gave
scenario
me,
then.
yeah, absolutely. Every note that they gave me, I know I hit.
Okay.
So at least I felt from my perspective.
So we're 8
but
to
again,
10 then.
they may see other things. They're different people. So,
But you
know,
left solid.
I left happy.
Okay, you didn't leave like, oh man, I bombed that.
Not at all.
Okay,
Nope.
okay.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
I went in there and, again, compartmentalized. I went in there and I said, you know what? For the next 5 or 10 minutes that I'm in that room, I'm going to own that room. All right? Whether they love me or not, I am going to give them what I think this scene deserves, or how my interpretation of this scene, whether they appreciate it or whether they view the scene the same way as I do, irrelevant. I'm going to go in there with my version of the scene. And that's exactly what I did. I got some great positive feedback. But that night, I get the phone call from my representatives that they didn't go with any of the three of us, and they went with a celebrity name who just instantly became available.
Well, now hold on. You left something out here though, right? So you crushed it. They were like, you did a great job, amazing, amazing. And then you find out they booked one of the other guys.
No, it wasn't another guy that I screen tested with.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
They went with like a beat.
They went with somebody who wasn't even there. This guy was, he's a name.
Soul crushers.
He was tied up with something else.
Yeah.
After they screen tested the three of us, this guy became available.
And like, okay, yeah, we'll go with him.
We'll go with this guy. And to this day, I don't know if he even screen tested or if he even auditioned for the part, or they just offered it to him because he became available.
And the lead that tested with you guys.
Yes.
He was already like in the bag. He was confirmed. He was on cruise control.
Contracted.
Yep.
Done. He was the lead of the show, the lead of the pilot. They brought him in to read with the three of us that was screen testing.
Right.
Yes,
he was like Kingpin. Hey, what's going on, guys? Nice to have you here.
Well, not so much a Kingpin. He was super nice, super friendly.
No, I know that, but like he felt secure.
He booked the job.
Right.
It was announced in Variety and all the industrials and whatnot.
So fast forward like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Not even. Fast forward 3 days. They're at the table read, and my manager called me up. He says, "Hey, you know how bad you feel right now?" I said, "Yeah." Guess what? They just replaced the lead. I said, "What?" Yeah. After the table read, they fired the guy and they brought somebody else in. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Super nice guy. I was actually giving him a hard time because he, I don't want to drop any names, but he came from a city that had a baseball team that was doing really well and had an all-star on the team. And I was ribbing him a little bit because he knew nothing about sports. I'm like, how do you not know what's going on?
I'm that guy.
You know? So, yeah, he's like, whatever. I said, are you putting me on right now? He says, completely. I know nothing about sports.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough.
But really nice guy. And I can only imagine, how he felt. If somebody says, oh, you booked it, done, at the callback or at the audition.
But even like you did, dude, putting in multiple auditions. It's not like, oh, you did a great job on the first one. This is like 3-4 auditions, doing the coachings and all this. And what's the moral of the story?
Compartmentalize. Move on. Next.
The problem with that is that it's so damn hard to compartmentalize it because it's so
an industry
personal.
Built on rejection.
Yeah.
If you are not thick-skinned, if you're not strong enough, if you don't have the stamina to withstand it, it's going to crush you. It's going to eat you up, and you can't let it.
The catch-22 to it all is just so goddamn personal.
It is.
It's not a product. It's not a service. It's you. You're all the above. And it's just, and
You know what?
You
I'm
need
going to
be
disagree with you, though.
emotionally available. Yeah, no.
I'm going to disagree with you because you know what? There's no competition. You know, whether they went with me or the other two guys, everybody has the same words in front of them on a piece of paper. That's the scene.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's just a matter of, do they want Chevy or do they want the other guy?
But it's so personal.
It feels personal, but it's not. It's
It
not.
isn't. It's not for them.
It's not for them. For you, absolutely, because
Dude.
it was a difference of making X amount of money based on that contract, or you know, you don't. That money doesn't come in.
That's like me putting someone's like, hey, we want this type of shot. And I go, okay, I'm going to do this. Let me put a week into making this amazing shot based on what you're telling me. I do the shot and they're like, we want another guy. Like his style fit us a lot better.
But now here's the thing.
Like I just put a fucking week into this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, and I gave it everything I had.
I'm sure you did. But here's the thing. It's the same shot. It's just like you said, you put a week into it. It's the same shot as the other guy. Okay. But now here's the difference. Do they want the Sean Turi shot or do they want the other guy shot?
Right. But
that's the difference.
But when they want the other guy shot,
there's no competition. There's only one Sean Turi. And you're only going to get the Sean Turi product if they go with this one. If they go with the other guy, then they're going to go with the other guy. But it's just like the same thing in acting. You know, there's 1,000 Hispanic guys out there that are bilingual, polyglots, you know, same age range, same height.
Poly what?
Polyglots.
What the hell is that?
3 languages or more. Bilingual is 2 languages.
Are you that? Are you poly?
I am.
You think you're better than me?
Slightly. So, but in any event, you know, going back to it is, you know what? If you put, you know, actor B right next to me, same exact features, same exact,
He'll always be better than you. I get it.
He's always going to be better than me. I'm always going to lose out to this guy. All right, he doesn't even have a name. He's got no name.
I know.
He doesn't even exist.
But
I already lost to him.
What's important is that he's better.
He's better than me in so many ways.
So much better.
Oh my God. God, why can't I be like you?
Dude,
God.
I agree. There is no competition.
But there's no competition. You know, they either want Chevy or they don't.
But when
that's just
someone
the bottom
says,
line.
I don't want Chevy,
Yes.
that's personal.
Only when it comes from a female.
Great stuff. Love what you did. We don't want you.
Yes.
I know you put in $300 this week in lessons. You put your heart and soul into this. Awesome stuff. We don't want you.
But get out.
Yep. Please leave now.
Well, please leave.
Security.
Yeah.
So you're going to take it personally. How can you not? You have to take it personal in order to do a great job. It has to be personal.
Well, that's the work. You have to make it personal because you have to make it yours. And I think that's what got me to LA. You know, because they gave me that scene. I made that scene mine. And that was my interpretation of the scene. All right. The other two guys, you know, the one guy that they flew in from Atlanta, the other guy that was local, they gave their version of the scene. Yeah. So they had 3 different scenes in front of them. So there's no competition. They either went with A, B, or C. So they can't compete. There's only one Chevy going around.
I guess my only question is, why didn't any of you guys do a better job to book the role? Like, I don't get that. God. I mean, have you given thought to that?
You know, it's funny you asked that because I just did the same exact interview at Peter Hurley's studio. And and it was just so much nicer.
Oh, I bet it was.
And
so bright and clean.
Yeah, I mean, the craft services there are just second to none.
Really?
Yeah,
craft services?
Shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail. Well,
Isn't
did
that
they
nice?
and lobster too?
So good. Surf and turf, however you wanted it. So great.
Wow, he's really onto something with that surf and turf.
Yeah.
I should have done that. I should have done that.
It really is all about the tartar sauce. Yeah.
But that is the entertainment business, and you know, we're saying this from a textbook perspective, or at least Chevy is on. It's just the work, but it is personal. I mean, it always hurts.
It can get personal, of course.
It always is, dude.
We're
always
human.
is. It always
we're
stings.
still subject to our emotions.
Of course. And that's a career field too, where you need to be emotionally sensitive to produce good work. you can't be disconnected and calloused in that line of work and produce amazing stuff. You'll never connect with the audience.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can't even tell you how many times I've walked out of auditions and I've seen people that I shared the room with, people that I've shared a scene with, they're crying. I'm talking grown men, grown women.
Like
afterwards,
Yeah.
they're crying like, I didn't get that. You'll get the next one.
Yeah.
And you don't even know that you didn't get this yet.
Well, that comes down to the thick skin, doesn't it? You just gotta muscle up on that. Like, you can't let it destroy you every time.
It's a stamina. You got it. The perseverance. You have to keep going.
It's a fine balance with that, and it's different how everyone manages that. What's your advice to someone moving to New York that is pursuing acting?
Where are they moving from? Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Don't come here.
Kansas. No, really. Like, they're moving from upstate New York from the Midwest.
Oh, like you did.
Yeah.
I got you.
So lonely up there. What's your advice?
Don't be in such a rush to go home. You know,
That's a good one.
yeah. If
What's considered a rush? How many years?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what? It's going to be different for every person because every person's different. If you don't get the first audition, you don't get the second, you don't get the third, you don't get the 12th or the 20th, persevere. Build up that stamina. Don't be in such a rush. You came down here for a reason. You know, you came to New York for a reason, or you went to LA for a reason, or you went to Vegas or Miami or any other markets that has a booming film and TV industry. Atlanta is another one, or Toronto, Vancouver, whatever the case is. You went for a reason. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Don't give up on yourself. I'm not talking about the business. There's so many different aspects of the business. You can create your own content at this point. You know, don't give up on yourself just yet. Persevere. Persevere. Build up that thick skin.
When is it quitting time?
Whoa. Well, you still haven't quit, so who knows? You know.
When is it?
Hold on a
quitting
second.
time?
Does your audience know your story? You know, I remember this kid when he was a snot-nosed, angry 19-year-old from upstate. And look at you now. The only thing different is that you're still from upstate.
I wasn't 19. I think I was like 22.
No, you were 19 when you came down from modeling, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I was 19 when I moved down, but I think when I met you, I was in my early 20s. But hold on, when is it quitting time?
I think that's different for everybody. I think that's different for everybody because I have friends that have never booked a network spot, never booked a studio film, still going at it. They're still doing it. Because they said, you know what? It hasn't been my time yet. I'm waiting for my time. And those are the people I respect most.
I have an answer for this.
Oh, God.
I have a position on this.
Of course you do. Because you just don't want to go back upstate.
So lonely up there.
It's beautiful up there.
It's so... Oh, man.
Listen, you know what?
It's one of the few places where the population is actually decreasing. Everyone's fucking leaving. I think... Yeah.
You know what? But hold on a second. You know what? Let's not, I guess, minimalize your efforts. Because this is a city that spits them out.
Chews them up and spits them out.
It really does. And it's an unforgiving city. And if you don't have that drive, it can do that to you. You know?
Yeah.
So you came down here as a 19-year-old kid to do modeling. And now here you are, one of the premier headshot photographers in the city. You know, that's huge. And you're completely self-made. I mean, there are countless nights that I remember, you were on my couch. You said, I cannot be in my studio. I just have to see 4 different walls, you know.
Yeah.
But you persevered. You didn't say, F this, I'm going back upstate, and this is going to be my rearview mirror, and that's it. And I'm going to be a letter carrier, or I'm going to be a botanist, or I'm going to be a substitute teacher. Not that there's anything wrong with those careers. I'm just saying that you chose something that didn't have a contract and a secure livelihood. Yeah. You chose something that required effort and a lot of effort. And you chose something that required drive, and you required something that it took chutzpah.
That was the word I was going to use.
Yeah. Right on the tip of your tongue.
I do use that word.
But here you are, and now you've built into an amazing business, you know, but you started from somebody who said, I'm going to come here and I'm going to make something in this business, and you have.
I would say, thank you. And I would say the reason I'd never quit, one, it's just not in me too. But also, I think when you hate it, it's time to switch. No, I'm serious though. If you do it long enough where you show up to work and you're a miserable prick,
right,
you need to hit the pause button or change channels or paths. And if that means leaving, leave. If that means trying a different job, or if that means becoming a director or a writer instead of an actor.
You know what? There's a different avenue to approach. Yeah. If you came here for this business, you came here for this industry, it might be something else for you.
Oh, dude, I didn't own a camera up until the age of 2 weeks before I started my business.
There's so many avenues to explore, you know. So that's my
just be open.
So that's my advice. Just don't be so quick to turn around. And give it. Just think it out.
Yes.
Try to instill some drive in you, and always. And I'm going to steal this from my acting coach. Every day.
She's coming on.
Is she?
Joanna.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. It's gonna be brilliant. Yeah. I'm telling you, she's got a lot of words of wisdom. Always be doing something, at least one thing for your business a day. Yes. Every day. Do something for your craft. Whether it's an acting class, whether it's an audition, whether it's a callback, whether it's working out and just fine-tuning your instrument or yoga, just finding that happy place, that meditation. Do one thing for your business every day. You will succeed.
Yeah.
And you know, successfulness, it's not defined by your credits. It's not defined by your bank account. It's defined by how you perceive your, I guess, the game of life, how you perceive your journey in the industry. It's different for everybody. It's different for everyone.
Yeah, it is.
That's why there's no competition. There's only one Sean Turi. There's only one Chevy.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like, don't be so quick to say, I'm done. Because, like, life is in the gray. It's not very rarely is it in the black and white. And sometimes it just takes time to pull back from the fire and be on the perimeter.
Listen, I can tell you from my 9 to 5, it's never black and white. There's always gray.
That's life, man. How much in life is black and white?
But be comfortable in the gray.
Yeah.
Be able to articulate yourself. Yeah. Be able to say, okay, I made this choice because of X, Y, and Z. Just be able to say and justify your actions. Don't say, I don't know, or I did this because I saw everybody else doing it. No.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Yeah.
You did that for a reason.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why there's no competition.
Yeah.
There's only one of you. Why? Because of your decision making. You
Yeah.
know, you decided to go out for that audition for a role that is completely opposite your type. You challenge yourself.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Right. That's great.
Yeah.
You're expanding. You're growing. You're showing range. Yeah. You book it, even better. Yeah. Now you have something completely opposite to add to your reel.
Yeah.
If you don't book it, you know where you need improvement.
Yeah.
But don't be so quick to quit on yourself. So I don't think that there's a point that, you know, that you asked, when should you call it quits? I don't think you have to ever.
Yeah. And it's sort of a loaded, it's a trick question, I guess, to base.
John, to trick me now, guy.
No, but that's it. And it defaults to, like, I will find a solution.
There's always a way.
There's always a way.
There's always a way. There's always something to get involved with.
And almost always you'll start with like one idea of like, this is where success is. And if you put in the time long enough, that always adapts and changes. It's just the way life is. Just be open to it. But put in the work and work harder than anyone. You have to work harder than anyone else. You have to outwork yourself every day and just be, they talk about live a balanced life and all that. Take that and throw it in the fucking garbage can. Be obsessive, be an overworker, an overdoer, and then try to overdo that. Because if you want to be hyper successful, over fucking do it and obsess on it and be better and better every day and never be content with today or yesterday. You just have to want to top that. Be your own competitor. It's human to compare yourself and to others. Try not to do that too often. I think that's healthy to do as well.
Listen, here's the thing though. Getting into this business and deciding that this is something you want to pursue, that's risk in and of itself.
Yeah.
Because there is no certainty with this. Like you said, when do you call it quits? It's not happening. The auditions are not becoming callbacks. The callbacks are not becoming bookings. The bookings are not becoming materialized income.
Yeah.
So when do you call it quits? It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But it is.
This is all a head game too, by the way.
Oh, completely.
Life is a head game. And very few have it figured out, I think, if any of us.
I don't think anybody has it figured out.
You even look at the hyper successful, some of them guys are absolutely tortured mentally even too.
And it happens to police officers often too.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's they're using a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Anyone that's questioning if they should stop in terms of, we're talking career now, or even if it's more than that, there's always a solution. Find the solution.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's just, I would say that's a safe
solutions
blanket
are
statement.
different for everybody.
Yeah. So whatever that solution is for the
beautiful
person.
part about it.
Yeah.
That's because this is a business built on creativity. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got a different story.
Yeah.
And that's what we celebrate. We celebrate stories.
Yep.
So there's nothing wrong with taking a different approach than somebody else. Yeah. You know what? Hey, the auditions aren't coming in, no problem. Start your own management company.
Yeah.
Now you're representing yourself.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah, that's the exciting thing about entrepreneurship in general. Yeah, there's no limitations to it. Your imagination is your only limitation.
That's
How
it.
exciting is that? I love that idea. That's what inspires me.
You know what? You cannot get auditions? No problem. Get together with 2 or 3 friends that are having the same issue.
Yep.
Start a management company, and you each pitch the other one.
Yeah.
To casting directors.
Yeah.
Start getting in the room like, oh, I've never heard of this management company. Yeah, I don't know. I went to one of these pay-to-play places. I met them, and they've been sending me out. Meanwhile, it's your best friend from nursery or your best friend from 4th grade, and you're both pitching each other. You're both submitting each other. And you know what? Now you have a thriving business that's a management company. Before you know it, it becomes a career. And whether you end up in front of the camera or you're pitching other people that become in front of a camera, you're collecting commissions, you just backdoored yourself into a business within the industry.
Yeah.
Why not? It's like you say, it's endless possibilities.
Do what makes you happy and what you're good at. I think that's my blanket statement. Find that thing, put in the time and effort to find what you like to do and what you're good at. Make those 2 things match. That's when work becomes play. That's when you find yourself on the road to success, through my experience. Is there anything you want to promote or plug or anything like that?
Yeah. Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Well
done.